Okay, ayan. Okay, so again, this is inversely proportional. Decreased pH means acidosis, an increase or above the normal, that is basically your alkalosis. Nagiging alkaline yung ating blood. Okay? And if ever your hydrogen drops, okay, ano mayayari sa ating pH? Yung pH natin aakyat. That means that it is alkaline in nature now, right now. Sorry, not in nature. It will become alkaline. Okay? So here, this is your normal value for your pH. That is 7.35 to 7.45. Now, the question here is that bakit nagbi-build up yung ating acid and base? There are two reasons for that one. Normal physiology, okay? And of course, your pathology. Sir, ano bang difference ng physiology and your pathology or pathophysiologic? Sorry. Okay, you have here your pathophysiology. Physiology. Ayan. Okay? Erase natin to dito. Okay. Now for your physiology class, when we're talking about physiology, these are all your all of the activities that your cells are doing. Every time your cells are doing something, they are metabolizing. Now nagkakaroon tayo ng cellular metabolism. Okay, this is a normal physiology. Kasi as long as you live, nagkakaroon pa rin tayo ng cellular metabolism. And for this to happen, meron tayong tinatawag na cellular respiration. For your cellular respiration, meron tayong anaerobic, if you could still remember yung inyong anatomy and physiology, and you also have there your aerobic respiration. Okay, remember that both of these respiration could lead to production or could lead to your production of your carbon dioxide and of course your lactic acid. Meron din at times water. Kuha natin, sir, bakit nagkakaroon ng carbon dioxide? Remember, for your aerobic respiration, kaya siya tinatawag na aerobic respiration because it utilizes your oxygen. This is the main respiration that our cells ano tawag ito? That our cells kanang I'm lost of words. Sige sir, paghang lang dira sir para pag alas 6 plus 5. Your aerobic respiration utilizes your oxygen, O2, and of course your glucose. Okay? Ito, remember nyo talaga ito. This is your cellular metabolism. Meron talagang glucose dyan. Dito sa both anaerobic and aerobic, merong glucose. Okay? Importante ito when we discuss your DKA or your diabetic ketoacidosis because we will be discussing kung bakit nagkakaroon ng acidosis sa ating DKA. Okay? Remember, glucose. Glucose dito, anaerobic. Sabi dito, anaerobic, that means walang oxygen. Aerobic, meaning merong oxygen plus glucose. That would yield your carbon dioxide and ATP. Okay? Yung ATP natin sa aerobic respiration, malaki. It is sustainable. Pero naman dito, if our body loses, kaya nga yung kung if you are into exercising, kung varsity player ka before, no? Namamalayan mo that after the training sumasakit yung ating mga muscles, no? Ginapamaulan ta. Okay? It's because of the fact that your aerobic respiration, pag ito ma-deplete yung ating oxygen levels, of course, magkakaroon tayo ng hypoxia. There are times when it will now result to your anaerobic respiration just for you to produce ATP. And for your anaerobic respiration, it is just glucose pero walang oxygen. Now, the problem with this metabolism is that there will be a buildup of your lactic acid. Okay? Lactic acid tayo dyan. Okay? And this will now create an acidic or acidity, no, to your blood pH din. Okay? So sir, ito yung ating normal physiology. Ito talaga yung nangyayari kung bakit merong imbalance. Pag ikaw ay isang normal person, if you are a healthy person, you can still have imbalance. But the imbalance there can be managed by our body. No, that's what we call your physiologic. No, normal lang yun na siya may tabo. There will always be balance. That's why we have there the lungs, the kidney, and your chemical buffers or yung buffer system natin. For your pathophysiology, there is an imbalance. It's because of the fact, or there's a buildup of your acid and your base. It's because of the fact that the organ is already manifesting the disease process itself, or they are affected by the disease process. Okay? Sir, tanong, ano ba yung mga problema natin dito? Of course, remember yung sabi ko sa inyo, you have there the lungs and the kidneys. If may problema ka sa inyong lungs, Okay? You will have either acid or base buildup. Kung may problema ka sa kidney, okay, problems in the kidney, you will still have your acid and base buildup. Kuha natin? Okay? So that's the reason why bakit nagkakaroon ng imbalance. Okay? Normally, meron pa rin tayong imbalance. It's just that kaya i-cope up ng ating katawan. Here, there is a process but it needs medical management as well. Okay? Para matulungan yung katawan natin mag-compensate. Okay? So that it would return back to its homeostasis. Kuha? Question so far? Okay, wala. Okay, now let's go to your regulatory mechanism. Ito yung sabi ko sa inyo, this is number 1, number 2, and of course your number 3. Itong ating chemical buffer, mabilis siya mag-act wherein if ever there is a slight imbalance of your pH, may it be acidic or may it be alkaline, sila yung una talaga na mag-act. Okay, they will be, it is the fastest regulatory mechanism that would act on that imbalance. Okay, but it would only take seconds. Pero nga, it is not sustainable. Okay, it cannot regulate or it cannot control if ever mataas masyado yung ating acid imbalance or base imbalance. Okay, now let's talk about your chemical buffers. Your chemical buffers, this is basically your carbonic bicarbonate system. Okay, yung carbonic natin, they will be the one that would act if ever the pH would become base or alkaline. Okay, sila yung buffer doon. Okay, kung nagiging alkaline or base yung ating pH, it is your carbonic system. Now, if ever you have here your bicarbonate, okay, itong bicarbonate natin, if the pH is what? Acidic. Okay, or acid tayo dyan. Okay, so they will be just switching with each other. So your carbonic or your carbonic bicarbonate system will be activated. Ang carbonic mo will be activated if the pH becomes base or alkaline. Tapos yung bicarbonate naman natin will be activated if the pH is acidic. They will be the one that buffs, no, gina-buffer nila. Okay? But again, anong tawag ito? This one is hindi masyadong sustainable for diseases already. Though naagyap mo sila, they still help. Okay, mabilis ang kanilang action. It will only take seconds. Okay? Pero if it's too much, of course, hindi na talaga nila yan makokontrol. That's where you're going, that's where your respiratory and your kidneys comes in or come into play. Now, you have here your phosphate. Okay, this is still part of your chemical buffers. Remember your phosphate. Is it an anion or cation? Phosphate natin.
Anion.
Anion.
Anion yan siya. 'Di ba sa anion natin, ano yung ating mnemonics? It is your PICO. So your PICO is phosphate inside. That means that your phosphate is the one that regulates, no, the pH balance inside your cell. Okay? While your protein naman, this is intracellular. This is your, sorry, tanggalin niyo yung F. Okay. Ayan. This is intracellular. This is extracellular. Kuha natin. That means that they are the ones, yung phosphate natin, if I'm going to ask you the question, what electrolyte or what chemical buffer regulates, no, the acid base balance inside your cell, this is basically your phosphate. Okay? And then for your protein naman, this is your extracellular. Okay? Sila yung bahala doon sa labas or fluids or the imbalance of pH outside of the cell. Okay? So dito sila makikita yung sa intercellular compartment, and your protein buffer naman is yung sa extracellular. Both of them regulates your pH imbalance. So regulates pH imbalance sa kanilang respective place. Okay, again dito sa phosphate natin, that is inside the cell, your protein that is outside of the cell. Respiratory system, lungs natin. Okay, seconds. Okay, kicks in seconds. That means that it will be activated agad-agad. Seconds yan siya pag merong imbalance. Now, for your respiratory system, okay, you have there, it will kick in minutes to hours, pero mataas ang kanyang sustainability. Ang pinakamataas talaga ng sustainability natin, if you're going to compare or if you're going to analyze all of the three, ito talaga yung kidneys natin. It will have, matagal siya ma-complete, and at the same time, mataas yung kanyang sustainability. Kuha natin. Just think that all of these are regulatory mechanisms or organs that would, and even organs, I'm sorry, organs that would regulate your acid balance. Now, for your respiratory system, you also have there the lungs. Okay? Now, the lungs, remember this one. Kaya nga tayo na meron tayong tinatawag na uncompensated and compensated because we will be checking if yung isang organ did something to correct the imbalance of your pH. Okay? So, for the lungs, you have there your carbon dioxide. Okay? So how does it regulate your carbon dioxide? Meron tayong hyperventilation. Okay? And you also have there your hypoventilation. Okay? Ano mayari pag magha-hyperventilate tayo? What do you think will happen to the carbon dioxide levels sa blood natin? Bababa or tataas? Hyperventilate. Kana bito maghila ka. Basically what happens there is that bababa yung ating carbon dioxide. Ay, hindi na makita. Dito natin lagay. Di-decrease yung ating CO2. Dito naman, hypoventilation, that means that you are conserving more CO2, thus increasing carbon dioxide levels. Okay? Ayan, so these are the ways wherein the lungs will try to help in balancing your acid-base balance. Now, let's go to your kidneys. Ano nangyari sa kidneys natin? There will be elimination of hydrogen ions pag meron tayong acidosis, and there will be regeneration of your bicarbonate pag may acidosis pa rin. Elimination of hydrogen, that means that it is now addressing it is addressing your acidosis. Okay? Kaya nag-eliminate siya. Remember yung sabi ko sa inyo, yung hydrogen ninyo, it is inversely proportional to your pH. As the hydrogen increases, yung pH natin bababa, that means that it is acidic in nature na already, or it becomes, your blood pH becomes acidic already. Now, pag sinasabi natin regeneration of bicarbonate, that means that it also addresses your acidosis. Okay? Sir, how does it address alkalosis? Pag alkalosis naman, there will be an increased reabsorption of your hydrogen ions kasi nga alkaline eh. So kailangan mo, ang gagawin mo dyan, you have to add a little bit of acid para ma-normalize or ma-neutralize niya yung alkalinity ng inyong blood pH. So what it does, kung sa ating acidosis, there will be elimination of your hydrogen. Pag sa alkalosis naman, there will be what? Ano yung sabi ko? There will be
reabsorption.
Yes. Okay? So there will be reabsorption. Increase ang reabsorption ng inyong hydrogen ions. Okay? Para mag-add ng acidity doon sa ating blood pH. Now for your bicarb, decrease ang regeneration niya pag alkalosis. Kuha natin. So just to make sure na nakuha ninyo, itong dalawa, elimination of increase elimination, ang hydrogen ninyo, tapos increase ang regeneration ng inyong bicarb if ever there is acidosis. Okay? Pag kuan naman, pag alkalosis naman, butan nato diri alkalosis, what happens there is that for your hydrogen, there will now be what? Decrease elimination and decrease elimination, and you also have their increase in reabsorption. Okay? And then for your bicarb naman, decrease ang bicarbonate na regeneration. Kuha natin. Ayan. So these are the components of your ABG. What do we mean by ABG? That is your arterial blood gas or blood gases, or arterial blood gas or arterial blood gases. So you have there your PaCO2, PaO2, or partial pressure of oxygen. You also have there your oxygen saturation, and you also have there your bicarbonate. Ang tinitingnan natin dito, sir, bakit ang dami? Tatlo lang yung tinuro sa amin. Of course, okay? Main na tinitingnan natin na components of your ABG is basically your PCO2 or your PaCO2. You also have your bicarb, and you also have there, lagyan natin ng star. Ito yung mga main components na tinitingnan natin. And of course, you have there your, pH. Your potential for hydrogen. Sir, tanong, ano ang unsay pulos ani? Anyone from the group or anyone from the class who can answer, unsay pulos sa imuhang partial pressure of oxygen and even your oxygen saturation? To check kung meron tayong hypoxia. Okay, there are times wherein the doctors will try to read, gina-appeal na nilang basa. Okay, ginapil na ilagbasa. All of the components is andun talaga. Okay? So you're going to, the purpose of this one is to identify if there is hypoxia. Okay? Ayan. So let's now talk about your key elements in determining. Again, this one here, it is for your hypoxia. Okay? Ito, you have to remember these values. 7.35 to 7.45, madali lang ang ating pH pati PaCO2 kasi same sila ng value. You have their 35 to 45 millimeters mercury. And lastly, you have there your bicarbonate, which is 22 to 26 milliequivalents per liter. Okay? Note that this is not a diagnosis or clinical diagnosis or disease. It will just tell you na that there are clinical syndromes associated with a wide variety of diseases. That means that there are diseases that would bring about itong mga syndrome ninyo or itong mga acidosis ninyo, itong alkalosis ninyo, may it be respiratory or may it be metabolic. Okay? And one thing that you need to know pala, pag kidneys ang may problema, okay? What do we call that one? Metabolic. It will always tell you that it is metabolic pag meron kang problema sa kidney. Sa respiratory naman, that is what? Respiratory nga nga eh. So that is respiratory. So you have there respiratory and metabolic tayo. Okay? Always yun na. Ang lungs nato is respiratory, kidneys nato is metabolic. Okay? So let's talk about the types of acid-base balance. I-review natin to siya. Okay? So meron tayo diyang acidosis. Dalawa lang talaga yan. Dalawa lang talaga yan. You have your acidosis and alkalosis. Okay? Now for your acidosis, it might be respiratory. Okay? And it can also be metabolic. Diba? Kuha natin. You have the respiratory acidosis. Meron din tayong metabolic acidosis. Here, you have the respiratory alkalosis and you also have the respiratory or metabolic alkalosis. Okay? So dalawa lang yan siya. It's either paano ba natin ito matatandaan? It's either or you're going to think this way, class. Okay? Try to check kung saan yung problema. If it's the kidneys that is giving the problem, kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng acidosis, metabolic acidosis or metabolic alkalosis, try to check if the lungs is the one or are the ones that are giving you problems with your blood pH, respiratory acidosis or respiratory alkalosis. Okay? And then you're going to check if, let's say for example, if ever metabolic tayo, meaning kidney yung problem natin. If you have kidney or if you have problems in the kidney, you're now going to check if the lungs, yung lungs natin dito sa respiratory, is trying to compensate for the problems that your kidney is giving your blood pH. Kaya andito, fully compensated, partially compensated, and uncompensated tayo dyan. Fully compensated, if merong ginawa or may ginawa yung lungs, the next question there is, sapat ba yung ginawa ng lungs para ma-normalize yung blood pH? Sapat ba yung pagiging abnormal na ginawa ng lungs niyo to compensate or to make the pH normal? Kuha natin. Partially compensated, may ginawa yung lungs natin or either your lungs or your kidneys, okay, para ma-normalize yung ating or para ma-normalize yung ating pH pero hindi sapat. Okay, dito sa fully compensated, sapat na sapat. Dito hindi sapat. May ginawa siya, pero hindi sapat yung ginawa ng ating either your kidney or your lungs. And of course, you have your uncompensated, meaning wala siyang pakialam, wala siyang ginawa para to correct yung ating acid-base imbalance. Kuha natin. So, lang, para hindi kayo malito, okay, ito. Okay. You have your respiratory. Okay, respiratory can be, oops, akyat. Respiratory can be acidosis or alkalosis. Okay? And then for your acidosis, respiratory acidosis, pwede yan siya tatlo. You have there your compensated, partially, And you also have here your uncompensated. Okay? Same pa rin siya dito. Ang alkalosis natin, pwede din yan siya ganun dyan. Okay? Compensated, partially, and then uncompensated. Okay? Now, for compensated tayo, respiratory tayo ha. Pag sinasabi, pag ito yung ating clinical reading or ito yung reading natin sa ABG ng patient, ano yung problema natin? Lungs or kidney?
Lungs kasi
Very good.
respiratory.
Yes, lungs ang problema pag ganito. Respiratory acidosis or respiratory alkalosis, that means that the lungs is the one giving the problems to your blood pH. Pag sinabi natin compensated dito, it will only tell you that the kidney is doing something. Okay? The kidney is what compensating or the kidney is trying to do something. So kidney is compensating. Okay? Tapos ang pH ninyo dito, normal. Okay? Malalaman mo yan siya na compensated yung ating or the organ is compensating, fully compensation if yung pH niya within the normal range. Partially naman, okay, if the kidney is still compensating pero abnormal pa rin yung ating pH. Ito naman, wala siyang ginawa. No compensation is done by the kidney. Okay? Wala talaga siyang ginawa. Hindi niya inelevate yung kanyang sarili, hindi niya binaba yung bicarbonate levels. Okay? Kidney did not do anything. Walang pakialam. Okay? And of course, your pH will always be abnormal. Kasi wala siyang ginawa eh. Okay? Now, same thought with your metabolic. Ang metabolic natin, ganito pa rin. Okay? It could either be acidosis or alkalosis. But you just have to change para kung gusto nyo i-explain yan siya, you're now going to change the kidney with your lungs. Kuha natin. So kung pag magkita ninyo ito, if you see this one in the reading, metabolic, metabolic acidosis, may problema siya sa kidneys niya. Because most of the time, pag metabolic yan siya, meron kang problema sa kidneys mo. Meron kang kidney disease or kidney failure, any problems with the kidney will bring about your metabolic acidosis or alkalosis. Kuha natin. Ayan. Sige. Question so far? Wala. Ito. So this is now the ABG analysis. Number 1, step 1 yung gagawin niyo, identify if it is acidosis or alkalosis. Sir, anong titingnan natin dyan? Yung pH natin. Okay? Yung potential of hydrogen natin. Check. Pag malaman mo, pH, acidosis. Remember, di ba yung pH natin? Pag mataas yung pH above the normal level, di ba your pH is, unsa man ang atong value sa pH? 35 to 45. Right? If it is above 45, it is what? Ano man, alkalosis or acidosis?
Alkalosis.
Alkalosis.
Very good. Alkalosis. Pag mababa naman below 35, that is acidosis. Okay? Pero we have here a value. Ipapakita ko yan mamaya sa inyo in the next slide. Now, once malaman na natin ito, acidosis ang ating or acidic ating pH or alkaline yung ating pH, you now try to check. No? I-check mo ngayon if kung ano yung lung or kung ano yung organ na responsible for giving problems to your pH. Kung kidneys ba or your lungs. Kuha natin. I will be teaching you yung tic-tac-toe method. No? Fully compensated and partially compensated. This talks about if there is compensation. Okay, ito yung last step ninyo. Okay, so again, check for the pH if it is acidic or alkaline. And then next, check mo ngayon yung dalawang values mo. Remember, your kidneys, ang values niya na titingnan mo is yung bicarb. Ang sa lungs natin, ang titingnan mo is carbon dioxide. Okay, i-check mo ngayon kung sino yung nagmamatch dito. No? Kasi kung acidosis yan siya, try to check kung sino or saan dito ang nagiging or is the one responsible for making your blood pH acidic or alkaline. Kuha natin. So again, step 1, check for the pH. Step 2, check for the one who is responsible for giving problems to your pH. And number 3, check if the other organ that is not responsible for giving problem to the pH, if he is trying to solve or he is trying to help or it is trying to help yung inyong imbalance sa inyong pH. Kuha natin. Ito. Another thing, okay? Pag this is the absolute value, yung 7.40 natin. This is the absolute value. So 41 to 7.45, that is slightly alkalotic. No, alkaline yan siya dito. Normal siya na alkaline. Dito naman, 39 to 7.35, that is slightly acidic. Normal siya na value, pero leaning towards acidity or acidic yan siya. Kuha natin. Again, let's add the information. Above 7.45, that is alkaline. Now, let's add this one. 41 to 45, slightly alkalotic yan siya, alkaline. That will still be treated as alkaline, pero normal, within normal range. Now, malalaman natin yan kung ano yung implication nito. Okay? Normal man siya, sir. Bakit siya alkaline? Okay? Because it is leaning towards your alkalosis. Ito naman dito, mababa yan siya, but mababa na normal, pero it's leaning towards your acidosis. Kuha natin. So, these are the anong tawag dito? Sir, baliktad lagi itong kuan yun, ang values na ito para hindi kayo malito. Pero if ever malito kayo pag ganito, i-try nyo pa rin. Because remember yung Rome ninyo, respiratory opposite, metabolic equal. Ito dito, I don't use the Rome kasi daghan siya considerations that you have to think about. You just have to analyze. For me, it's just about analyzing yung mga values ninyo eh. Okay? So remember that your carbon dioxide or your acidity is what? Inversely proportional to your pH. Kuha natin, kung mababa yung pH natin, of course, mataas yung ating carbon dioxide or mababa yung ating ano tawag dito, yung ating bicarbonate. That is why it says metabolic equal. Okay? Kasi kung anong tawag dito kung mataas yung ating pH, okay? Kung mataas yung ating pH, mataas din yung ating bicarbonate. Okay? Ganito yung ibig sabihin talaga ng Rome class. Ha? Pag respiratory, di ba, Rome yan, respiratory equal. Okay? I'm sorry, respiratory opposite and then metabolic equal. Respiratory tayo. If ever your carbon dioxide is mataas, yung pH mo, what do you think will happen to the pH? Mababa or mataas?
Mababa po.
Yes, mababa. See, respiratory opposite. Metabolic natin will always be equal. Okay? Pag mababa naman yung ating carbon dioxide, okay? Pag mababa yung ating carbon dioxide, mataas, of course, mataas yung ating pH. Okay? Ito naman dito, metabolic, pag, of course, this is bicarbonate eh. If mataas yung ating bicarbonate, what do you think will happen with the pH? Of course, mataas din because that is alkalosis. Same thing, pag mababa ang ating bicarbonate, that means that what? Acidic ang ating pH. That is basically Rome. Pero this is not, I do not use this one kay, dili ko ganahan, I don't want to be limited with the considerations ba, no? With the things that we need to consider. Ito, tic-tac-toe natin. Okay. For your tic-tac-toe, example natin dito. Saan ba ito? Kuha tayo ng example doon sa baba, ha? 7.44. Sulat ko muna ito. 7.44. pH. PaCO2. 30. Bicarb 21. Para na akong magbalik-balik. Okay. So ganito yan, di ba remember yung step 1 natin, you have here your tic-tac-toe, di ba? Pag tic-tac-toe, ana, daog, ana, di ba? Tapos naki-x dira, whatever. No, this is basically the tic-tac-toe grid here is used, no, yung grid lang. Okay, and then you have here the acidosis, normal, and alkalosis. Now, sir, paano ba to gamitin yung tic-tac-toe natin? Uy, okay. Ganito yan sa class. You have their acidosis tayo. Or ano yung first step natin? You're going to check for the pH. Ito yung mga values natin. Niabot na daw itong result sa inyong ABG. So your pH is 7.44. Ang ating PaCO2 or PCO2 is 30. Okay? And then bicarb natin 21. Okay? Remember, your PaCO2, pag mababa sa 35, that is what? Ano man tawag natin dyan? Mababa ang PCO2 natin.
Alkalosis, sir.
Very good.
Alkalosis.
Alkalosis. Pag mataas yung PCO2 natin, of course, that is acidosis. Pag mababa ang bicarb natin, that is acidosis. Pag mataas yung bicarb natin, that is Pag mataas yung ating bicarb, that is basically alkalosis. Now, let's try to place your pH dito sa ating tic-tac-toe. Okay? 7.44. Asa man na siya dapit ni mo yung ibutang? Is it normal? Normal ba siya?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, normal siya. Buta na to dire 7.44. Pero okay, doon siya sa inyong alkalosis. So pwede nato na siya ibutang dire 7.44 normal. Okay? This will just tell you na okay, normal siya. Pero it is leaning towards your alkalosis. Kuha natin. Next, 'di ba sabi natin, try to check what is responsible for yung ating pH na nagiging, why is it becoming alkaline? So this is normal tapos alkaline. Check natin. Saan dito ang merong alkalosis or alkaline? PaCO2 or your bicarb?
PaCO2, sir.
Okay. Your PaCO2 is abnormal tapos alkaline yan siya. Okay? Nakita mo na. Okay? So ilalagay mo yan dito tapos ito, pwede rin ganito eh. Ito yung ginagawa ko, class. I don't use this one. Ito yung ginagawa ko eh. So this one already is, anong tawag ito? 21. Is that abnormal?
Yes po, sir.
Yes. Abnormal yan siya.
Acidosis, you know.
Very good. It is abnormal tapos acid siya. Okay? So ngayon, ito yung pair mo. Di ba? Sabi ko sa inyo, pagdating ninyo sa second step, first step, check ninyo ang pH if acidosis or alkalosis. May it be normal or abnormal na alkalosis or acidosis. So na-identify nyo na. Next, check if kung sino yung responsible. What organ is responsible for making your blood pH alkaline? No, dito sa ating example. And na-identify nyo na. So you have there your PaCO2. Ilagay nyo yan dito. PCO2 which is 30. This is what? Alkaline. Okay? So you already have this answer. First answer mo. Number 1, you already identified na alkalosis siya. Okay? So this is what? Ano yung answer nyo dito? Eh kung ito lang ang yung inyong information, this is what? Respiratory or metabolic?
Respi, sir.
Very good. This is your respiratory acidosis. Okay? We're done with step 2 already. Ay, I'm sorry, not acidosis. Sorry. Alkalosis. Okay, alkalosis. Okay? You've already identified yung ating respiratory alkalosis. Now, third question. May ginawa ba? Ang problema natin, saan dito yung may problema natin? Lungs or kidneys?
Lungs.
Very good. Kasi nga, respiratory. You have there a problem for your lungs. Now, third question. Anong tawag ito? Third question is, I am very much kwan sa time. Third question is, try to check ngayon. Of course, wala ka na ma-check. Na-check mo na itong dalawa. Na-pair mo na itong dalawa eh. Kasi ito yung nagbibigay ng problem, yung inyong lungs. Check mo ngayon si kidney. May ginawa ba siya? Question ko sa inyo, may ginawa ba si kidney? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
very good. Kasi pinababaan niya yung kanyang bicarbonate levels. Okay? So, pag mababa yung bicarbonate levels natin, it becomes acidic ngayon. Now, question, okay? So, na-answer na yung question niyo. Yes, may ginawa. So, pili kayo doon sa sa compensated and partially. So, na-eliminate niyo na yung uncompensated kasi it already answered na it was already answered that your kidney did something, 'di ba? So pili na lang kayo sa compensated and partially compensated. Okay? So ngayon, you have here your acidosis, lagay natin dito si anong tawag dito? Bicarb natin, 21. 21 ating bicarb. So this is acid, no? Abnormal acid. Question. Is it fully compensated or partially compensated?
Fully, sir.
Fully.
sir.
Fully
Ah.
po.
Bakit fully? Kasi, yes, pinababaan niya, may ginawa siya kasi nga, nag-compensate siya. check nyo kaagad. No, you have to return to your values and yung pH. Check ninyo. Uy, okay, normal ating pH. Okay? That is why respiratory alkalosis fully compensated. Or in some books, it is just compensated. Okay? Ayan. Pwede naman siya isulat fully compensated respiratory alkalosis. But I rather would like to write it this way para yung process ma-follow ninyo. Kuha natin. Another example. .38, 49, and 30. pH, PCO2, bicarb. Ay, andito meron pala tayo example dito. Bobo mo, sir. Sorry. Andito pala. Meron na pala dito. Exercises na pala yun. Okay, 7.26. Bobo mo, sir. Okay, 7.26. Saan nyo ito ilalagay?
Acidosis po.
Very good. This is 7.26. pH. Okay. Next, identify kung sino kung sino yung may sala, no? Kung sino yung nagbibigay problema, is it your lungs or is it your kidneys? Sige. Saan man dito? PaCO2 natin.
Alkalosis.
Alkalosis ang ating PaCO2. Tanawa na diri ang inyong na diri inyong normal values, gas. This is below 35. And pag mababa yung ating CO2, that is alkaline. Nagiging alkaline yan siya. So this is your PCO2 alkaline. Okay. Sir, tatanong nyo kayo ha. Meron tayong dalawa dito. Dalawang value. Is it your lungs that is responsible for the acidity of your blood pH? Yes or no?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No.
Yes.
Kidney po.
Very good.
Metabolic po sila.
Yes, very good. No, dili siya mo kay, di ba? Pair man dapat na sila. So kung ini acid ni siya, pangitag laig acid dito. Remember, this is your bicarbonate. Your bicarbonate is 20 to 26. It is below 22. That is acidic. So dito mo ilalagay yung bicarb mo. Bicarb mo is 18. At meron ka ng isang answer. This is already metabolic acidosis. So that means that the kidney is the one giving problems to your blood pH. Siya yung may problema. Question ngayon, titinan mo ngayon yung ating respiratory kasi of course yung ating lungs, kung meron ba siyang ginawa. Question, meron ba siyang ginawa? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, very good. So again, eliminate yung uncompensated. Okay, pipili kayo sa fully compensated and partially compensated. Question, sapat ba yung ginawa ng lungs ninyo to normalize your pH?
Dili, sir.
Dili.
Dili po.
Dili. Very good.
Partially
this is now-
compensated.
Very good. That is partially compensated. Guys, for those na hindi maka-follow, I know no katong sulan pud ko wapud ko ka-follow ano mas unsa ka lami kay mo tudlo ang teacher ani ako gyud la. Ano maka-answer man ni ako ubang classmate ako dili. Tulo kay lumilipad man ang isip ko. Tan-aw na jud unsa man nila. But try to once we're done with the class, I think we're done with the class already, no? Inani lang, hindi siya gana magpa-+5 ba? Inahin niya siya. So you have
Wala pa, sir. Wala pa.
Wala pa. Okay. Ay, naku, wala pa naman. Okay, so you have there partially compensated. Okay? So guys, ayaw kayo, don't be too hard on yourself if hindi pa ninyo ito makuha, no? It's okay, no? It's okay lang, Jod. After graduation pa na ako siya nakuha ka nag-review. Okay, syempre, mas tutok naman kaayo. Wala naman may mga minor subjects. Puros naman nursing tanan ang ginatunan. So it would less burdens inyo habang. Okay, so do not be discouraged na anong di man ko maka-answer ani. Okay, try to process ninyo class. Okay, another example. At least dito, lahat na po niya. So we will not be taking this one already because we answered that one. Meron tayong 7.38 ang pH natin. And then, ang bicar, PCO2 is 49 for the PCO2. Bicarb natin is 30 ba to? Wait lang class. Bicarb natin 30. Okay. Sige, isa-isahin natin. 7.38.
Normal, pero
Normal
acid.
po, sir, pero slightly acidosis.
Very good. This is normal. 7.38 ang pH natin. Okay? Pero naana siya dire. Okay? So normal yan siya. Acidic, no? So you're going to check right now kung sino yung kung sino yung responsible for making it acidic in yung blood pH natin. O check natin. So this is normal acid. PCO2 natin. Ano man yan?
Acidosis
Acid,
po,
sir.
sir, high.
Acidosis.
Tapos mataas. Okay, abnormal. Okay? Bicarb natin.
Alkalosis po, sir, high.
Okay, taas. Question. Okay? Ay, katong mga hawd na mutubag, ayaw sa mugtubag ha. Tawag ta direbe, manawag ta. Miss Bodiki.
Sir.
Okay, sige, Miss Bodiki. Meron tayong kuan dito, values. Question ko sa iyo, is it or what organ is responsible for giving problems to your pH? Is it your lungs or your kidneys?
Lungs po, sir.
Okay, very good. It is your lungs. Okay, thank you very much, Miss Bodiki. So you have here your 49. Okay, taas mo ang PCO2. So you have here a pair already. What is your first reading? Oy. Ay, tawag. Basi na-expect mo nga manawag ko. Mr. Syria.
Sir.
Mhm. Mr. Syria, unsa man imong pagbasaan ni? Kanilang. Sige, try.
Acidosis, sir.
Yes, very good. That is your respiratory acidosis. Now, tatanungin mo sarili mo, may ginawa ba si kidney? Kasi lungs na nga yung problema natin eh. Okay, tatawag na naman ako. Mr. Reyes. Ernest Eugene.
Sir.
Okay. May ginawa ba yung kidney mo to help solve the problem of your blood pH? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you very much. So, pipili na lang tayo sa compensated or partially compensated. Let's call Miss Singson.
Yes, sir.
Miss Singson, is it partially or fully compensated? Sapat ba ang ginawa ng iyong kidneys?
Fully, sir. Fully compe.
Okay, you have their fully compensated. Tama ba ang answer natin?
Dili
Everybody.
ko sure, sir.
Okay. I wasn't asking you kung dili ka sure, Miss Singson. I was asking the class if tama ba ating reading ngayon.
Tama po, sir.
Yes. Okay. So
Tama,
tama ka,
sir.
Miss
Yes
Singson.
po, sir.
Okay. Very good. Sir, bakit fully compensated? Kasi tingnan mo, naging abnormal yung ating levels ng ating bicarbonate. Okay? Bicarbonate. With all the feelings talaga yan, class. Okay? So mataas yung ating bicarbonate levels natin. Kaya it will tell you, dito natin ibutang atong bicarb. Bicarb na to 30. Yan. So, pero, sir, paano kung uncompensated? O, edi ilagay natin dito yung bicarb natin. 23 ang bicarb. That means walang ginagawa. Tapos ito, sir, meron bang ganito na case? Normal siya? No, wala. Okay, wala. Wala case ngayon na, ha? Okay? So, dapat, dili siya abnormal po ng imuhang kuan ang pH nimo. Kuha na to. Okay, sige. Let's go to your exercises. No? O, sige, answeran nyo na lang to sa bahay ninyo, class. Are there any questions? Kaya mag-dismiss na to.
Na, sir. Sir, wala pa gani, sir. Sige na, good, sir. Mga 10 minutes pa,
Lagi,
sir.
dili, mag-discuss to. Oy, dili, oy. Buwangan nung i-end ba na ako nga. Sige. Class, katong gisend na ko nga handout sa inyo ha. Ayaw ninyo tanawa. I want you to do your exercises. No? Hatagan ta mog time. Nanamurag plus 5 lagi kay 5 minutes na lang mag-alas 6 na. Okay? So, sa to. Balik ta. We're done with your 1 and 2. Okay? Try to answer 3. Uy, Mr. Oliveros, yes, you were raising your hand.
Sir, may question na ako about sa pH. Pag 7.40 po, sir, saan po siya maglilinin? Sa acidosis or alkalosis po, sir?
Normal talaga siya. Normal talaga siya. Good question, Mr. Oliveros,
Okay,
and good
thank you.
observation. Pero here's the thing. Kasi nagpaturo din kami kay Ma'am Hernandez for the mean, ano tawag ito mean reading. Okay, wala talaga or there are most of the time talaga wala. Rare lang jud nga mahimong 7.40. Naalang jud na siya sa duha. It's either it would be normal siya pero leaning siya sa acidosis or leaning siya sa alkalosis. Okay, it is very rare for you to see an ABG or a pH value of 7.40. Okay? No, good question, Mr. Oliveros. Sige. Meron pa bang ibang questions?
Magamit to ni mong tic-tac-toe sa ano, sir, combine.
Sa combine. Okay, sa combine dili siya magamit, no? But ay actually magamit actually siya pag may question kung combine tama no? Pag combine yan sa class, magamit mo yan siya because all of the, let's say for example, kung combined alkalosis, meron tayong, ito pala yung hindi ko na-discuss, combined alkalosis or combined acidosis. Okay? Pag sinasabi natin combined alkalosis class, you will not be asking yourself kung sino yung bumibigay ng problema. Kasi pag sabing combined, that means both your lungs and your kidneys are the one responsible giving problems to your blood pH. Okay? It will not matter kung metabolic siya or respiratory. Kasi dalawa na kasi yun Dalawa na sila. Kaya nga tinatawag combined. It's both metabolic and at the same time respiratory. Alkalosis or acidosis. Kuha natin. So kung gagamitin natin yung tic-tac-toe natin, of course, lahat talaga ng values mo is kung combined, alkalosis yan lahat. Pag combined naman sa acidosis, acidosis yan lahat. So yes, pwede gyapon siya magamit. Kuha natin. Pag naka-align yung tulo ka values nimo. Okay? Sige. Answer 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Kuha natin. I will give you time talaga, no? I will give you time. So since you will be answering that one, I will give you 30 minutes no para maka-try talaga. Guys, ayaw mo adto sa handouts to check no or to write or to i-practice ninyo. You try analyzing, ha? So I will be seeing you at 6:30. Okay, para mag-discuss tayo sa answers. Okay? Sige. So kung matapos ka na maaga, you can have your bladder break. Okay. Nakabasa na ba lahat? Tapos na ba lahat? Ayan. Okay, number 3 tayo. 7 point. So you have there number 3, 7. 7.10 for the pH. And then you have their PCO2. Crash out mo rin, hindi ako malito. PCO2 of 49. And then bicarb of, sorry, 40 din. Bicarb of 18. Okay. Sige. Let's identify pH. Tingnan natin anong pH natin. 7.10. That is
Acidosis po.
acid. Very good.
Ay, baba po.
Mm-mm. Now, let's check. Sige, i-answer mo natin ito lahat. PCO2 natin. It
Normal
is
po.
40. That is
Normal.
normal. Bicarb natin.
Acidosis po, low.
Very good. Acid. So what is your initial reading? Metabolic or respiratory?
Metabolic acidosis po.
So this is metabolic acidosis. Compensated?
Un-
Very good.
Uncompensated po. Lungs
Okay.
do not compensate.
Very good. Okay. Uy, bakit ito ganito? Okay, so this is metabolic acidosis. This is uncompensated. Next, number 4. pH natin.
Acidosis po, low.
Acid. Okay. Wala. Acid. PaCO2 natin.
Acidosis po, high.
Acid. Bicarb.
Normal po.
Okay. Normal. So ang partner ng pH mo, kung bakit naging acid, it is your CO2. So this is what?
Respiratory acidosis po, uncompensated.
Yes. Very good.
Kidney does not compensate.
Mm-mm. Okay. How na si Mr. Dalipe magkuan? Basa. Okay. Next. pH natin dito. 7.48.
Alkalosis, high.
The other alkalosis. PaCO2 natin.
Alkalosis po, low.
Okay, alkalosis pa rin. Bicarb,
Normal po.
wala siyang pakialam. Okay. What is now your reading?
Respiratory alkalosis po, uncompensated. Kidney doesn't compensate.
Very good. Respiratory alkalosis, uncompensated. Oh, ayan. Next. Sandali lang, Mr. Dalipe ha. Para. Kasi magaling ka na magbasa. Very good, no? I would like to call on kinsa ba itong tawago namin today? Miss Saludo.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Andyan ka agad. 7.41.
Alkalosis, sir.
Alkalosis na normal. Okay. PaCO2 natin.
Alka din po.
Very good. Bicarb.
30 is alka, sir.
30
Ay,
is
tama.
alka.
Opo.
Okay. Alka. What is then your answer?
Ano sa ata yan, sir?
Ano ba?
Hindi ako sure, pero yan ata yung combined, sir. Kaya dalawa yung alkalosis, combined alkalosis po.
This is combined alkalosis. Sir, tanong, meron ba ganito nangyayari wherein your pH is still normal tapos kuan? How do you call this? Your PaCO2 and your bicarb, they are very low already. The very low for the PaCO2 and high for your anong tawag dito? For your bicarb. No, meron naman. No? Expect, no, kasi siguro yung kanyang pagkuha ng ABG sudden, acute. So there will be an acute, no? So siguro on the next kuha ng ABG natin, this will now be above the normal talaga. Alkalosis na above the normal. So this is combined alkalosis. Kuha natin. Okay, thank you very much. Next. Sa ba itong biktima, Hondre? Miss Fabian.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 7.50.
Alka, sir.
Alka. PCO2.
Alka po siya, sir.
And your bicarb?
Bicarb kay acidosis.
Okay, very good. What is now your reading?
So, respiratory alkalosis na partially compensated.
Very good. That is respiratory alkalosis partially. Next is number 8 na tayo. Okay. Mr. Coronel.
Yes, sir.
Sige. Let's try. 7.30.
Acidosis po, sir.
Acid. Good. PCO2 mo.
Acidosis pa rin, sir.
Good. Your bicarb.
Acidosis pa rin, sir. Combined acidosis, sir.
Very good. This is combined. Okay. And thank you very much, Mr. Coronel. Lastly, let's call on Miss Kaalim.
Yes po, sir.
Sige. 7.60.
Alkalosis, sir.
Very good. PCO2.
Alkalosis din po.
Very good. Bicarb.
Alkalosis, sir.
So your answer
Combined.
is?
Combined alkalosis po ang final reading.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much, Miss Kaalim. Okay, ayan. So, are there any questions for your ABG readings? Wala na? Are you confident? Thumbs up daw, bis, mga confident. Ako na to ng mga confident.
Basta combined tanan, sir.
Basta combined. Okay. Ayan, basta combined. Oh, bitaw no, madali lang ito ang combined, no? Tapos tatanungin ko, ano ba yan? Anong problema natin? Metabolic? Tapos maganga kayo. Wala akong bitaw, no? Meaning, pag combine na, both na talaga yan sila. Okay? Yung mo, rhetorical question, ma'am. No? Hindi na dapat kinapag-isipan kung metabolic na or respiratory. Combine gani, ma'am. Duklan yun mo sa inyong CI mo. You're being a smart ass. Anyways, okay. So, ayan, tomorrow, I will be giving you your quiz on fluid volume deficit and fluid volume excess. Identify lang natin if it's FBE, FED, or both. Okay, and I will also be giving you a special quiz para makabawi kayo for today's quiz. No, it is yung special quiz natin. It will be yung topic natin is of course yung still the same topic. No, yung sa ating regulatory mechanisms. Okay, and then tomorrow I will be giving you your asynchronous lecture video on your alkalosis, metabolic and respiratory alkalosis and acidosis. Okay, so ayan. Are there any questions? Wala na? Oh, kung sad kayo ngayon, sad din si sir kasi hindi niya natanggap yung parcel niya. No? I ordered yung parang Blackpink na pillows ba, no? Cute, cute. Yan. Nasad ako. Okay. Ayan, wala kaming pakialam, sir. Tumahimik ka na. Babay na tayo. Katawa si Loki. Tinuod mo, wala kaming pakialam, sir. Okay. Ayan. Sige na. Let us pray. And for those now hindi naka-quiz, I will be checking on you on the GC, no, para malaman ko, para mabigyan ko kayo ng class code, okay, for the Quipper. Sige, let us pray. Kinsa ba pwede mo abot dire? Miss Altamirano. Ayan, sige, Miss Altamirano.
For the Catholics, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for the new knowledge. I hope Mother Jess na mo karon tanan na lesson ni Sir and unta mawala na ang confusion throughout the for further lesson na mahitabo pa for this subject. And I hope na lahat ng students ay magkaroon ng good rest after this class. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen, amen. Okay, so this is still your clinical instructor, Mr. Aldrin and Antonis, signing off. Goodbye, goodbye, and God bless everyone. Have a good day tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
Thank you po, sir. Thank you
Sir.
po.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Available pa imong 5 points din.
Thank you, sir.
I will think about it.
Asa?
Sige, bye-bye.